Hi, I'm Jim Atkinson, and welcome to Meet Avidian. Today, we're going to meet a key member of our team. His name is Michael Smith. Mike is a senior wealth advisor, a founding partner, and the president of Avidian. And you probably heard him as a longtime host of our radio show, and now his own podcast, The Lowdown. Mike, it's great to have you here today.
Great to be here, Jim.
Today, let's talk a little bit about what motivates you, some of your influences as a child, maybe growing up, and what gets you up every day. That's okay.
That sounds good.
Okay. So take me back to maybe you're 14, 15 years old. There's probably a pivotal point in your life where you decide what you want to do. And I'm curious, at that point in time, were you thinking about being an advisor? Was that your goal in life?
Of course, every day. Now, like any young person, you're probably thinking something in the lines of sports. And I kind of went a different path. I actually picked up surfing and started doing that for quite some time. And just kind of a long story short, I ended up in 5 U.S. surfing championships. And I was sponsored by a Maury Boogie and Body Glove at one point. And I think it was looking like I was going to go that direction, but I chose college and decided, that was fun for a while, but I needed to get serious and went on to college, and there I went.
I never would have guessed surfer.
Most people not from Texas, right?
No. Yeah. So you were in Texas and decided to surf. That's interesting.
Well, they had an association. It allowed me to travel to all over Hawaii, California, Florida, and compete. And it was a lot of fun. But again, a lot of fun while I was young, and I met a lot of people and saw a lot of things. And beaches and tan and sun, you can't beat it.
You can't beat it. So there's a point in your life where there's a pivot.
Sure.
Right? You start to get introduced maybe to the business and get some exposure. I know that for you, there was a entrepreneurial spirit that was always kind of there.
Yes.
And it tied in with your father. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Well, my dad's a business owner, and I went to college and I studied business administration. And of course, just like anybody else, when you get out, you want to start applying yourself immediately. And so I went to work for my father briefly, and I started to notice he had an advisor like me. He had an insurance person. He had a CPA. He had an estate person. Back then, the estate tax was $1 million, so that just kind of give you some perspective there. And I wanted to talk to all these people and see what exactly they did. And after talking to each one of them, I asked my father a simple question. I said, "Father, do you understand what these people do for you?" And he had a vague answer. I said, "Well, the good news, neither one of these people understand what the other person is doing. No one is communicating, and no one is basically playing quarterback with all these people and communicating to the goals of my father." And so that kind of was inspiring, and shortly after that, I got into the business and, basically kind of went from there. But that was my big inspiration. I want to get in here and learn how to do all these things that apparently are not being done well for my father and his business.
So you did that, and in fact, you ran the business for a while, didn't you?
Correct, yes. Actually ran that for many years, even while I was building this business in conjunction too.
So then how did you pivot to becoming a broker, sort of a traditional investment advisor, and then the pivot from that to running your own firm?
Well, I'll tell you, when you start out in this business, you go to work for several different firms. Everybody's got their big pitch and why they're the best. But one of the common factors I noticed with every firm, and it is exactly why I wanted to get out and do something independent, every firm is focused basically on their products and what it can bring to the firm, how much money it can bring to the firm. Every event I went to, every seminar, every conference, it was never about the client first. And it was somewhere around 2003, I think Charles Schwab came out, and they had an article talking about the fiduciary standard, the fiduciary advisor, the next generation of advisor. And my partner at the time, we both read this, and you know what? That resonated with me, back to my father, back to what I felt was needed. And from that moment, we actually, it took us not too long to get registered. And basically, we started beginning the path to our independence and becoming a fiduciary.
I also remember that time because that's around the time when you and I met.
That's true. I met you at one of those conferences. It's been quite some time.
I think we're dating ourselves, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
So you left to start Avidian. You and I were talking and started our friendship back then, around that time.
Yeah.
And you launched the firm. And at that point in time, I'm assuming it's like any entrepreneur's experience, it's a little stressful. You may have taken out some loans or sort of mortgage things to get the firm going.
Absolutely.
And there's no guarantees in life or in business.
Well, I'll paint you a picture. It was literally right after the great financial crisis. We finally made the big leap to leave the broker-dealer because we were duly registered as a fiduciary and a broker-dealer. But we made a decision, we're going to leave and become a full-time fiduciary. That was in the middle of the financial crisis. I remember standing here at City Center. We had a great office here. This was a concrete skeleton. I stood on this floor with no windows and everything, looking at what it could be. And of course, that came to, I'm going to put everything at risk. My equity in my home, whatever bank accounts I had, and lay it on the line. And of course, we had to make it work then, and luckily it did.
So you were either a visionary or crazy.
Exactly. That was it. There was only one direction to go, and that was go for success.
Well, seeing how City Center is filled in,
it has filled in.
Like, yeah.
It was, I think, us and Lifetime Fitness were the first two tenants.
Is that right?
Yeah. So that dates us as well.
I don't know how you've stayed so young looking, but pulling it off.
Well, that'd be another podcast.
So talk about your wealth management. So you've got several responsibilities here at the firm, but I think, talking to you and knowing you, I think your heart is, squarely set on helping clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the big challenges I think any advisor is going to find anywhere in the business is that you've got to wear a lot of hats. Are you the person that's going to be the one that, keeps in contact with them? Are you going to know how to create their financial plan and all the financial planning data? Are you going to be the portfolio manager? There's a lot of hats to wear in this business. And so one of the thoughts of building this firm is, can we bring in experts in all of these different areas, and advisors can, not have to wear every hat or be the expert in everything. You have the resources and the things you can count on to really help your clients. And so that's what we've built here. We've got different departments, the planning department, the investment team, and that's to assist the advisors in basically being the front person for their clients.
The firm has grown by leaps and bounds. How have you found that you're able to maintain balance? You've got a family, you've got a personal life, as well as work. How do you balance that with such tremendous growth in the firm?
Well, work-life balance is a challenge. Everybody, you can read books on it, is a challenge that you have to constantly go through. There's been times where I have not been so great at it, but as you get older, you start to really figure out what is it you want to do. And, every day to me, I come in this office, it's a passion. I enjoy it. I enjoy sitting and meeting with clients. But at the same time, I have a great team behind us that allows me to do that. It allows me to focus now in my career where I really want to spend my time. And when you're early in your career, early on, you sometimes have to focus in all different areas, some of them that you really don't want to focus on. So it's been a very good thing, especially with our growth, allowing us to do that.
True. Do you still find time to boogie board?
It's been, it was probably about 4 years ago in Costa Rica. It was the last time I went. And I was surprised that I picked it back up. So
is it still fun?
It did. It was kind of like riding a bike, a little wobbly at first, a little scary, but I picked it back up, and it was a lot of fun. Absolutely.
So, what do you see for the future of the firm? Right, you're involved at a high level, management level, and sort of looking out into the future, maybe 10 years. You're still a young guy. I assume you still have all the energy and motivation to keep going. What do you see for the firm? New advisors coming in every day, not every day, but maybe a few times a year, sort of joining the firm, and new products and capabilities being added. So what do you see the vision for the firm looking out 10 years?
Well, I look at the vision of this firm, and surprisingly, the bigger firms out there, they still haven't figured it out. It's not about the client. And I think for that reason, we're going to continue to grow. We have a lot of time to be able to grow, find other advisors and other families that want to come here where they're put first, and advisors that want to put their clients first. And, surprisingly, that hasn't really set in Wall Street yet. And I think as long as that's the case, we're going to continue to head down that path and provide that for families and for advisors that want to come and take care of their clients.
Do you still feel that passion and the fire every day when you wake up? I'm sure you think back to your father and all the help he needed, and when clients walk in the door, you still get excited and passionate about helping them out?
Well, if you're passionate about coming in, which I am, it's not a job. It's just something I enjoy and I get to do. And I've got a great team, great people, and we're growing together and collaborate, and you learn something every day, and that's what keeps it a lot of fun.
I agree. Mike, I feel the exact same way, and I think most of the advisors here do as well. Thanks for stopping by today.
Hey, Jim, thanks for having me.